Hello and welcome to episode 23 of My Life as a Critic. I am professional film critic Sean Patrick. On this show, I look back on my own work as a critic and critique myself and critique the movie again. Go back through my 20 years of writing on the internet, find a random review, read it and correct it, hopefully, and then give the movie another chance to either impress me again or disappoint me again, or who knows, maybe it gets better or worse over time. I can't see how that's possible, but it's happened where I've kind of evolved my opinion in some way. This episode is a viewer's choice episode. Viewer's choice, listener's choice, I guess would be a better way of putting it. It's an episode where I let you guys choose the movie. I posted on Facebook and on the I Hate Critics Facebook, which I Hate Critics is my regular weekly podcast. And I put it out there because basically what happened was that I picked these at random, and I picked anger management at random, and I really didn't want to do anger management. I'm going to have to eventually, but I'm not in a Sandler kind of mood right now. and so I put it out to my friends and the people who love the I Hate Critics page and let them choose the movie this time. And they tried to choose anger management on the I Hate Critics page, but they were just trolling, so I just qualified them. So what we got is Constantine being the final choice. Constantine, 2003. It's Keanu Reeves in the lead role of John Constantine. Of course, this is based on the comic book Hellblazer. And Keanu Reeves is a hit-and-miss proposition. I mean, he can be very, very good. He can make a very, very, very good movie, and he can make a lot of really, really terrible movies. And I've tended to like him more than others, I guess. I tend to find his limitations sometimes work for his characters. And I honestly don't remember what I thought of Constantine off the top of my head, so let's jump right into the review. For all of his limitations as an actor, Keanu Reeves has the star pose down pat. For whatever reason, audiences gravitate to his slacker handsomeness and surfer dude laconicism. It matters in no way that each of his characters, from Neo in The Matrix to his cop in Speed to his cop in Point Break, are all the same blank-eyed, buffed-up action hero with fewer syllables in his vocabulary than a caveman. People just like the guy. That likability does not seem to fit his latest monosyllabic hero, however. For Constantine, the movie based on the cult comic book Hellblazer, Reeves takes on the role of a hard-bitten, chain-smoking loner and, not surprisingly, fails miserably in making him seem real. He does, however, make him likable and worthy of rooting for against the forces of evil, oddly enough. At the beginning of humanity, God and the devil made a wager for the souls of all mankind. The rules allowed for no direct contact, only proxies on Earth to peddle influence. Demons and angels in human form whispering in human ears about right and wrong, in hopes of luring people to either the heavenly path or hell's fire. When the demons break the rules of the wager, John Constantine has made it his mission to send them back to hell. Constantine hopes that by doing God's dirty work on earth, he can earn himself entrance into heaven despite his myriad of sins. When Constantine was a child, he discovered that he had the gift to see angels and demons in human form. This drove him to suicide, a sin that condemns him to hell no matter what. Nevertheless, he's trying to make up for it the only way he knows how. When the sister of an LAPD detective named Angela Dodson, played by Rachel Weisz, commits suicide under supernaturally suspicious circumstances, she turns to Constantine for answers. The sister, Angela's twin, Isabel, also played by Ms. Weisz, is automatically condemned to hell because of her suicide, and Angela hopes that Constantine, with his connection in the angel and demon underworld and his unique ability to go into hell on command, can rescue her sister from damnation. All this leads to a confrontation with the son of the devil and some vague reference to a spear of destiny, the spear that killed Christ on the cross and still has his blood on the tip. The spear has the power that could help the son of Satan take over Earth, yada, yada, yada. I really wasn't paying much attention to that part. Constantine's plot tosses a lot of things into the pot and mixes them up with the hope that a coherent story will emerge. Throughout Constantine, first-time director Francis Lawrence diverts some extraneous bit of plot that may or may not play out in the end. These diversions are why the film's length is bloated to over 2 unnecessary hours. However, in the few minutes the film is focused, the story is interesting, and Constantine is entertaining and, at times, edge-of-your-seat exciting. For his part, Keanu Reeves never really works as a hard-bitten, chain-smoking badass. He's a little too polished and handsome to be a real loner, and too wiry and passive to be a badass. When he lights a cigarette, you can't help but think it's an herbal and not real tobacco, but not the real tobacco of a true chain smoker. That said, when it counts and Constantine, Reeves uses his star power to pull off the trick for making you pull for him. You may not buy the persona, but you buy the quest and want him to win in the end, and the quest is compelling. If Francis Lawrence's direction were a little tighter and his star a little more perfect for the role, Constantine could have been a classic. As it is with Keanu Reeves, as the star, Constantine is passably entertaining, and as loosely directed, it is sloppy, but it still manages to hold your attention. Far from great, but not nearly as bad as the majority of films released thus far in 2005. I guess it was 2005, not 2003, sorry. Constantine is worth the price of a ticket. So there it is. That's my review of Constantine. Of course, Constantine was recently tried as a TV series. He got relatively strong reviews. Francis Lawrence has gone on to make some pretty good Hunger Games movies. I thought the last Hunger Games movie was pretty incredible. Would he direct that one? I think he did. I'll have to check. That's probably something I should have known before I started talking. But that's kind of goes against the entirety of this show, which is just extemporaneous, off the top of my head, whatever. So I'll look into it while I watch the movie. So I'm going to take a break now and actually watch Constantine, give it a second review, and we'll see. I'm pretty happy with the review I wrote. Relatively straightforward and kind of in the middle of the movie. I don't see it getting any better, but let's. That's all part of the fun of this show. Well, that was a movie. Yeah, I didn't particularly care for that. That was actually worse than I remember it, Constantine. Just not a very good movie at all. This is filled with all sorts of really convenient plot devices, convenient characters, really a lot of cheating going on, and not a whole lot of substance. Keanu Reeves is John Constantine. He's made himself, I guess, the mediator between heaven and hell, a wager between God and the devil over the souls of mankind. And anytime a demon steps out of line and tries to tip the scales a little bit too much in the devil's favor, Constantine steps in and stops them. Lately, he's seen that there are demons that are trying to cross over into the human world. That leads him to finding out that Satan's son, in fact, is one of those that wants to come into the real world and take it over, thus ending the battle between good and evil for good. For evil, actually, but regardless, it's up to Constantine to stop them. He's got the help of Rachel Weisz, who plays a cop who's also has a twin sister who killed herself, who was a psychic, and she's also a psychic, and just once you start digging into that, then it just starts getting really, really terrible even more. I forgot that Shia LaBeouf was in this movie, and it's a particularly normal performance from him, which is, like really normal. Like he's actually kind of good in the movie, and kind of a normal person, which is kind of not who he's become over the years. Other recognizable actors. Tilda Swinton is in this. Didn't remember that at all. She's pretty bad, playing an angel named Gabriel, who may or may not be on the right side of things in this story. Like I said, there's a lot of convenient plot points, a lot of convenient characters. There's this spear of destiny, which is the spear that was used to stab Jesus on the cross. It has his blood on it and can, I guess, open a conduit between hell and earth. Who knows? But conveniently, it's discovered, and conveniently, it's delivered to where it needs to be in the movie in order to play the part that it plays. But none of this really matters. I mean, nothing in this story actually matters. Everything is kind of randomly tossed together when you put it. When you really start taking this film apart and putting it back together, why are they at a mental hospital? Why does it have to be that spot in Los Angeles, a mental hospital? Why did the guy who found the spear, or how did the guy who found the spear know to just get in a car from wherever he was, Mexico, South America, whatever, and drive to Los Angeles to deliver this spear? I mean, he was a random character who found it. Which, by the way, if these all-powerful beings can rip people out of buildings and drag them through the air to wherever the hell they want to be, I guess finding them pretty much at random wherever they are and just fly them across the city to the mental hospital where they need them, why couldn't they just find this spear of destiny on their own and just kind of pick it up out of the ground and carry it to wherever they needed it to be? And the powers that people have in this movie are convenient, and everything about this movie. I mean, there's just every plot point is a convenient plot point. Keanu Reeves is bad. He's his typically bland kind of self. Like I said, there are times when I really don't mind his blandness. I think his blank space kind of thing really worked well for John Wick. I thought that brought a little something extra, in fact, to that film. The fact that Keanu was very low key and not, I thought his kind of intensity, I guess, that he brought to that, kind of less wild-eyed and more just controlled, intense, kind of dour thing that he was doing, worked for that character. Same for Neo. Neo's supposed to be kind of blown away by everything that he's seeing, and Keanu Reeves is great at looking like he's surprised by stuff. It looks like a lot of things really surprise him all the time. and yet he doesn't get overly excited either. So you're kind of like, he can take it in for a moment and kind of adjust to it. So you kind of appreciate that. He's dumb enough not to ask questions that might cause the film to have to become too thoughtful and slow it down. So in that way, he kind of works, but he doesn't work here. He doesn't. Nothing he does in this movie really matters because his character is controlled by the convenience of the plot. Everything is just so placed in his way. Like, there's just this whole God in the machine thing that's going on the entire time, stepping in and delivering just the right amount of information that he needs in a moment, and just the ability that he needs in a moment in order to accomplish what he needs to accomplish. But in the end, none of it matters. There's nothing about this movie that matters. And Francis Lawrence isn't a bad director. Like I said, the last Hunger Games movie is a really good movie. You should check it out. If you didn't see the last Hunger Games because you were so disappointed in Mockingjay Part 1, Mockingjay Part 2 got really, really good. I'm not kidding. So Francis Lawrence is a pretty good director. And there's nothing really wrong so much with the direction of this movie. It's just the script is just really terrible. It's filled with just convenient plot points, just a lot of things that just appear when they're needed in the script to get to the next thing. The film also goes on for 2 hours, and it doesn't really need to. It has multiple endings, and then has a big cheat at the end involving Satan and Constantine's it's a whole it's just all so stupid. It's really dumb, and I really don't like this movie, and I like it even less than I did in the review that I wrote 11 years ago. So there that is. That is Constantine. It is a bad movie. It remains a bad movie. I'm surprised that there's still a cult surrounding this thing. There's still a lot of people who tell me that they like this movie. I don't see it. I don't see what you folks see in this. I really don't. Is it just that Keanu Reeves is handsome? Because I really have only heard from women on this talking about Constantine. Is it just that Keanu Reeves is so cute? Is that what you like about this? Because otherwise I don't see it. I mean, I really, really don't see it. This has been episode 23 of My Life as a Critic. Thank you for listening.